This is Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom.
Well, hello, everybody. Guess who's back? That's right. Daddy's home. I brought the milk. What, Joe? What, Joe?
Your camera was fine until you hit live, and now it's all choppy.
Oh, no. Is it choppy? What is going on? So we were just talking to our Patreons about what we're going to do to fix that. And Joe actually saw a test I did last night. And so he knows that the new way is going to be a little bit harder. We might lose a few features, but it's going to be better. I will bring mine down from the 1080 to the 720, and that hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to do that. So there, now it's on 720. Oh, you got to tell me if it gets smoother, Joe. It's just so stupid.
You'll have to give it time to normalize and see if it gets smoother, because right now it's still choppy. We're just going to have to deal with it. Actually, it's completely frozen now. Oh.
I know, I'm sitting still. I could sit still. It was not frozen. I just sat here and listened to you.
It's frozen. It was.
See,
it was.
It's so stupid. And that's
Rock God of Technical Difficulties is back.
No. I'm not. What did you say? Everything was fine till we hit live, which tells you what? It is a platform. So,
yeah.
But we've talked about just going straight through OBS, and it's just what we're gonna have to do. I'm also doing recordings for other people, and I knew when I did that this week, and our account is still open at the other one, StreamYard, and so when I made links to have other people digitally come in and I just record for them, I was like, yeah, I can't do Talk Studio. And as soon as I thought about that, I was like, well, if we can't do Talk Studio, we know we don't want to do StreamYard because it's expensive, and I'm not bringing that much money to pay for it right now. Go to patreon.com/wise_nerdy, and you can help us get back on the street. But it's Joe and I both know we can do the work to do the OBS. So that's the last thing we're going to talk about tonight, Joe. But I do appreciate you telling me, because on my side, it's feeding me perfect camera. Camera. And I cannot trust
it's not choppy anymore,
so
you're good.
Still, it was never choppy on my side. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? That's not what we called to talk about. What are we doing? Oh, by the way,
Judo chop.
Kurt, just whatever.
He just doesn't like you.
He doesn't like me, and I don't like not being liked, Kurt.
I feel like the kid, and you guys have to share custody of me every other weekend.
Yeah. I'm looking at my camera setup, loving how I kind of want to smoke a cigar right now. I need a scotch and cigar, and then we'll be real podcasters. Then we'll be worthy of YouTube
podcasters when you've got a cigar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a scotch.
I think you need to call Travis. He can do a cigar podcast with you.
Yeah, but you've got to come and sleep in it at Dragon Con, so I don't know if I want this smelling like cigar. So anyway, what is the question of the week? Oh, I need to add to my nerding out. Go ahead, do the question.
Okay. The question of the week is, if you had to survive in a video game world for a month, which one would you choose? And the real question is, are you gonna cheap out on me and say like Animal Cross or something? Animal Crossing.
Are you kidding? Even with the tariffs that we have in America today, Animal Crossing is way more expensive, way more predatory. There's no way I want to go to an island where the second I land, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Bluey the video game, Kelsey, come on. There's no dungeon cooking in Bluey. Come on. You think those dogs even know how to spell anime? No.
See, my first thought is Minecraft, because if you survive the first night, you're good. Like it's pretty easy, and especially if you don't take any risks, because all you gotta do is light up your area and nothing bad is gonna spawn. So you don't have to worry about.
You just took the cheap way out.
No, It's not, because there are bad stuff that can kill you. And I mean, just falling can kill you, but it is definitely
Unless
survivable.
you're playing
It's
the
not like I'm
free-playing
gonna
God
pick.
mode or whatever.
It's not like I'm picking a Souls game or something. No, sir,
No.
that ain't happening. No.
No.
Now
No.
that's from a survivability standpoint. If you didn't have to worry about dying, this would be a very different question. Because if you actually lived by the mechanics there that you could respawn and stuff,
Sure, yeah.
then because it specifically says in the question you had to survive in the video game world for a month. So if you took that part out of it, there'd be a lot of games that would be a ton of fun, like Baldur's Gate 3. That would be a ton of fun, or World of Warcraft. You know what? Basically, I would love to be in a fantasy themed game world with magic and dragons, and that would be a blast. Now, that's assuming that I could progress through the character tree and I'm not just stuck as myself the entire time.
You need some solo leveling going on.
Yeah, right. So what I put out mine. What is yours?
Okay, so I got a couple. None of these games that I play do you ever have to eat or sleep, right? That's not a mechanic in the game.
All right.
Right. So that being said, Borderlands, I would just love. I'm a bit of a murder hobo in that game. I don't like how you're talking to me. I just shoot you in the face because you can't kill non-player characters, so I don't shoot them. You're NPCs. It's as soon as you leave the town, everybody's trying to kill you. So it's all good. And if I don't have to eat any of the rat meat or stuff that they have, I'm good. I could just stab myself in the leg. I'm rejuvenated with health. We're good to go. Diablo 4, really, again, playing by game mechanics. You don't have to eat. You don't have to sleep. And if you die, the worst thing that happens is your weapons degrade a little bit, and you gotta pay some gold to fix your weapons back to full strength. What would be even more fictional than games? I would love to live in the Wreck-It Ralph world, not the game, but that connected internet world. And if you had to pick a game out of that, where she came from, Vanellope came from.
Oh, the candy one,
the Candy Crushers or whatever.
Yeah,
not Cruisers, something like that.
Sugar Rush.
Yeah. Why did you couldn't even let that go? I can see your brain works like, no, I got it. Hold on, go through the attic.
I had to think of the theme song that it plays when he first gets there, and I was like, Sugar Rush.
Oh
Sugar Rush.
It's such a nonsensical topic, and you use some real brain power. You got limited brain power for life, man. Just
nope.
saying, it's not always the.
I have unlimited brain power. I've got that hack.
Oh. So, where is Random Kid, by the way?
Don't know.
How dare you miss us tonight, sir or madam? Because I don't know. It's Random Kid. I'm just running everybody off, Joe. I like it, man. I like it.
You like running people off?
Yeah. I mean,
you're like, only if we call it corralling. We call it corralling to patreon.com/wise_nerdy.
Yeah. No, seriously. Tell people, if you like the show, tell people to listen to it. Tell people to come watch. We'd love to have you show up. Call Dad, right? wiseandnerdy.com/calldad. That's the next thing we need to work on after we get some DragCon stuff taken care of, is the website it needs some fixings. It needs some doings.
Part of the issue...
There's Random Kid!
Part of the issue is when you go to the main page of the website, if you don't do a Control F5, then for some reason it shows a cached version of the website.
Oh, so that must be happening to me too, because I was like, well, I thought we fixed that, but this is all. I mean, it hasn't been updated. Well, I was saying it hasn't been updated in a while.
We use WordPress, and I've tried to install a bunch of things that supposedly clear your cache. And and you know how I know that that's still the thing? Because all of the spam comments go onto our first one, which is still which is the one that's displayed on the
cache,
on the cached version. All of the spam comments end up on it's the one where the image is you did an AI image of Mario on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
All of the spam messages that are usually in Russian end up there.
We're huge in Russia, man. People love us there.
That's right.
They try to sell us all kind of jewels and stuff.
the ruples. Oh man.
Rupees.
That's Hyrule, not Russia.
Exactly. That's how I rule.
All right. You didn't say to roll the dice, but I did it anyway.
Roll that dice.
There. He's a little slow in the uptake. He is Alabama.
Waka waka, bad dad jokes.
Okay, let me see that camera again. Let me see the dice camera. Okay.
All right. So instead of going to Discord, I thought I'd go ahead and see what ChatGPT had for us. Okay.
Oh no.
So we've got a few from ChatGPT here. Why don't skeletons fight each other?
They're bad to the bone?
Because they don't have guts.
My wife watched this entire thing on TikTok last night. That was more of an animation. It was like this little pencil as a character, and he just go, or a ruler or something. And he just goes, "I won't tell jokes, and they're not funny." And he rolled through like 10 dad jokes, but what made it funny is the same thing that you make it funny. Now with you, it's the face, that anticipation. You know you're gonna laugh. You know you're gonna enjoy how much I hate it. All that stuff. Well, the ruler would go, what was it? Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have guts. Not funny. And he just rolled, and every time he said not funny, it cracked me up because he just did it a slightly different way. Timing was slightly off every time. It wasn't like it was just, I was not going to say it this time. Then he goes, not funny. And I was like, that's hilarious. That part is hilarious because you're right. It's not funny.
But what do you call a factory that makes just okay products?
Oh my God. I don't know.
A satisfactory.
Bob, where are you?
Roll that dice.
Roll that dice. Roll that dice. Roll that dice.
All right.
How do I?
Without you. All right,
I put this one in here. How do I handle finances once I get married?
You don't. You let your wife do all the work. That's what I chose.
I mean,
it worked out.
You're not wrong. But so the thing that I've gotten, so I have been spending some time the last few weeks on the marriage subreddit, partially to see how bad other people got it so I can feel better about my marriage.
You don't want to gloat. You want to feel better about your crappy marriage.
No, my marriage is quite good. But it's made me realize just how good my marriage is, especially. But the one thing that I see whenever finances come up in these posts is how many people live with, this is my money, this is her money,
Right. Yeah.
and then we have a joint account that we both put money into for the bills.
Which
and
is
so-
actually fairly brilliant.
And so I've seen that a lot, and that to be completely blunt, that never crossed my mind. Like it was very natural. Okay, and it's probably because of my mentality, or maybe it's just my perception of other people's mentality that's off. But there is a distinct culture of, if it doesn't work out, I can get a divorce. That has never been my mindset.
You think that's what you're reading that into that?
And that could be a very false perception, and I acknowledge that could be very false, and in a lot of cases it likely is false. but I have also seen people who they literally state we keep our finances separate in case of divorce. So I have seen that there are people that live like that. And so how did you go about when it came to finances? Did you blend your finances together? Because that was one of the very first things we did. Is I closed my bank account and I got added to my wife's, and so we had the one bank account.
One bank account to rule them all.
Yeah, and we never looked back, because there are next to zero instances where we would get a divorce unless there was abuse or infidelity, and we knew that going into it, that we would work through any other issues together.
So the question I have, what take out what other people put into it? Oh, keep yourself. If you aren't worried about divorce, what doesn't make sense logically about having the separate bank accounts?
I guess it just fuels, in my mind, it fuels that you're not one, that you're not
okay. So
unified.
I'll tell my part. That's kind of where it came from, but I'm in a different mindset now, and I'll tell you where we are. And Steve Harvey broke it down really well, and he talked about that. What helped his marriage is that kind of thing: his bank account, her bank account, Bill's bank account. But also, I don't know what his wife does for a living or how that works, but obviously Steve Harvey has all kind of income, whatever, and he doesn't seem to not take care of his kids, any of that stuff. When we first got married, Erin actually proposed that. It's like, because she had been independent for a little while, a year or two, and I'd been independent for about the same, of earning your own money and paying your own bills, and to a point, right? So she was used to, okay, I just want to know that we can manage things, and I said that to her, what you were talking about, that I didn't use the words, it doesn't feel unified, but I was like, why would we be separate? We should be together. And I'm sure I threw some stupid Bible verses at her or something like that. And ultimately we had the one account, then we always had a savings account. And then there was time when I was paying the bills and her brother was paying her to drive up and stay with him and do things and this and that and other. So she just kind of kept cash as her own thing. It was almost like a temperature gauge to see how it goes. And now where we're at, I have a business account, that's mine. We have a joint account. We have a joint savings account. I have a business savings account. And people say, "Oh, it's different." It's not really different. When I'm talking about it, I don't run yet. I'm getting there. I see the steps coming. I don't run enough business through my business account to go, okay, that's a business. It's just my account, right? I have, I don't know, half dozen PayPal accounts with money floating around in them. But she, at some point when her grandfather was getting his stuff together, right? I guess he saw the incoming or whatever, just knew he needed to get affairs in order. He had her open up a separate account. Then he started hiding. They wanted to get a security box, whatever. And he started hiding money and stuff under her. It's a thing. At least that's what he intended. Didn't really play out that way because Erin's not the kind of person that hides from anybody. It's like, no, this isn't whatever. But so she don't get an account. Well, then she started working roadie and Lyft and making some money again, right? And I was like, yeah, have your own account, because I needed it separate at that point. Now, this is last couple of years at this point in the story, right? We're within since COVID. And the multiple accounts were like, oh, for us, it made sense. Like, this account, business is for business, or I know this, for me, I treated the main account as a bills account. We have paid the bills. All her fuel's taken care of out of that, all of her groceries, everything's there. She has this other account that needs separate because she likes to do all this stuff for the kids and, getting them into baseball camps and rec ball and this and that and other. Well, I'm like, I need to be able to look at the bills account and the way our brains work now. And for the record, for those of you new to the show, 23 years on my first marriage, so it's okay. We're working it out. I'm practicing for the second marriage. I'll be better, I promise.
You know, one of
So-
these days, because you say that so
I do.
much, one of
I
these
do.
days you're gonna be like, hey, let's renew our vows so we can move on to our second marriage and it'll be better.
Hey, once the last kid graduate moves out, maybe. Uh, so yeah, for functionality, it's like she needed the freedom mentally to go, okay, this money here, be it in a drawer in cash envelopes, was what she did for a long time. And it also protected it, right? If it's not in the bills account, we don't look at it and go, oh, look, we have X amount of money left over and we missed something because we forgot a bill or we go spend it on food or whatever. If it's in cash somewhere, it's harder to get past your brain and going, okay, I gotta go get it. Now I gotta go spend on this and stuff. So she needed that freedom to flow with, oh, I'm gonna sign the kids up for this and that. And she could look at her account and go, well, I don't have the money. And that's where it stops, right? As opposed to looking at the bank account going, I think all the bills are paid. It looks like we have extra money. And then, she would talk to me and I'd be like, well, if we have the money, whatever. And same with the business. Like today, when I use my business account to buy the cable that hardwired the laptop, because, one, I could track it for tax purposes, so on and so forth. So that's how we handle it now. But we did the exact same thing when it started. And the reason I brought up the years of marriage and all that is at first I absolutely believed it was all about the unity. But the older we got and the longer we were married and the more that life changed, I grew up in a traditional household where one income, one bank account. And I think that's still probably fairly normal through the South and the Midwest and whatnot. I mean, there's no such thing as normal, but not unusual, I guess I should say. And there's nothing wrong with it. There was a point in time when we both wanted to have, I hate the word allowances because it sounds so childish, but still that freedom.
Some discretionary money for yourself.
There you go. That's the adult word, discretionary funds. And we just take it out and put it in cash envelopes, which is the same thing basically as having separate bank accounts. But that way I knew, oh, I want Taco Bell. Oh man, I only got like $5. So I can't go to Taco Bell, man. and that kind of thing.
Especially not nowadays.
No. Well, even nowadays though, Taco Bell's still one of the cheapest and best foods out there. Run for the border. Ding. That's I'm trying to get a sponsor, okay? I love Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I eat it like once a week. It's the best. And it's still one of the most affordable out there. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? That the functionality of, oh, okay, Joe, do you want
But are you on that separate account with your wife, or do you not even know how much is in it?
It wouldn't be a separate account if I was on it.
Well,
I
see,
guess you
so
could have. No, you could. You're right. You could. It doesn't. No, I don't know what's in it. I don't care. But I get it. We could have set it up in the chain of our accounts. It happened to be at another bank, and she asked me if I wanted to be on it. I was like, nah, I don't.
see,
it literally does nothing for my life, so I don't need to know it.
See, we have multiple accounts, but we are on all of them together.
So so for you, separate accounts is you don't see it as opposed to different accounts.
Correct.
So, okay, in the scenario then, you could have a discretionary fund account that's Joe's fund money. You could have Kelsey's account that is buy kids shoes, and then you could have the bills account.
Yeah. But we're on all of them.
I think functionally we're talking about the same thing. So, honestly, I didn't even think about if people say, well, she has her account, I have my account. I didn't think about like separate, I can't touch it, I can't see it. But also,
there are at least according to the Reddit, and I've heard of other people where they literally keep completely separate accounts. My paycheck goes in here, my paycheck goes in here, and then they deposit whatever they agree upon into the joint account for common costs, common expenses. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I mean, I mean, whether I can see it or not, the functionality is the trust, and it's more balanced that way in my opinion. Because for 20 some odd, not quite 20 years, about 15 years so, I was the only income. I had to pay so I had to pay the bills. That anything else I wanted to do, I had to hustle extra. So to build everything I've built with my podcasting empire and all the stuff that goes into the softwares and the hosting and everything else, I've had to wait for tax money to come back. And even then, I always volunteered to give her like 70% of the tax money. I took 30%, and that 30% was my investment for the year of what I'm going to do for podcasting. And I think a better balance is, oh, your paycheck goes in that account, mine goes in this one, and we're both paying the bills. Hoorah! Let's do it.
Well,
Thanks for sharing.
And perhaps because of my perception, since we've been married, since we had kids, I should say, we've been a single income household.
Sure.
Before we had kids, my wife did work. I mean, I was still finishing school after she got her degree, so she worked, and I worked, and we made it work. But yeah, so ever since I graduated college, which was like 2 weeks after our first kid was born, we've been a single household income, and so at that point, my wife doesn't have an income, so why would she have a separate account? And so that could be a very different perspective from a lot of the world where it's a dual income household.
And some people don't even choose dual income. I mean, I think if I know, I know Erin likes feeling useful out in the world. It did give her a taste of something different to do. But if I could provide the life that we both want for ourselves, and she could just hang out with the kids and just do the fun bits in life, she would absolutely love that. She wouldn't want another job. But some people want to always work, and that's cool. And some people, have to have dual income households. But
More often than not, they have to have dual income households. It's becoming increasingly rare that people can get by with a single income household. And I know, at least personally, we have made a lot of sacrifices in general to have a single household income, a single income household, and that is a choice. It is a lifestyle choice. But yeah, so anyway,
yeah, I get you.
That's
a good question.
But ultimately, I think you hit the nail on the head. As long as there's trust and it's working for you, that's what matters.
And cut Kelsey off some cheese to go play with her every once in a while, Daddy Warbucks. Can't keep her locked up in the basement all her life.
we don't have
pretty.
We don't have enough money for cheese.
So we just buy the Cheese Wheeze. It's not the Cheese Whiz. That's name brand. Cheese Wheeze. But it can sit on the store shelf for 3 years. Not have a problem.
It comes in a can.
I've had canned cheese. It's okay. It's okay. It's not okay.
You with your fancy jars or blocks of cheese or sticks of cheese. How dare you?
Oh my God. Here, roll some dice while I tell this too. But I remember growing up, and my mom would buy a block of cheese, and we weren't supposed to touch it because that's the cheese she was going to shred. Because when they started making shredded cheese in a bag, it was stupid expensive. What's funny is in the 80s and 90s, it was stupid expensive. It's practically the same price now, so it's nothing to go buy a big thing of shredded cheese in a bag for $3. But $3 when I was a kid, apparently, and it just hasn't changed. That industry hasn't changed so much.
Buying it by the block instead of shredded saves you just a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't save you a lot.
We actually buy by the block specifically because they add a lot of additives to shredded cheese to make sure it doesn't clump.
Okay.
And so we wanted to remove that from our eating habits. So we buy blocks of cheese and shred it ourselves, and it does clump, but we make it work, deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. What I marvel at is that was like a block of gold when I was a kid. I had that bag mom came out a little bit, and she sliced me a little bit, or would she shred it in the food processor? We get little cheese curds, they're not really cheese curds, but the little lumps, whatever. And now it's like, look, we can $10 for 5 blocks of cheese. Let's go. Everybody's eating cheese tonight for dinner. Anyway, what'd you roll? What do we get?
A commercial break would be good right now.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can do that right here. All right, let's turn this down, and let's go here. Coming soon to a podcast near you. Patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy, where you can join our community and have tons of fun and be a daddy-o. We didn't say daddy-os again. Dang it. Also,
Daddy!
yo! I don't know. What is this music I have here? This is what. Here we
It's
go.
so intense.
It is. Ah, there we go. Borderlands. That reminds me of Borderlands music right there. Okay. Well, go to wiseandnerdy.com/calldad and call in your stuff. Oh, look, John's here. Let's listen to the cheese talk. So, all right. I'm going to adjust some lighting while we take a break. I'll be right back.
All right. And he's gone. Oh, man. I almost wonder, Charles, do you wish you had made your office... Oh, he can't even hear me. Do you wish that you had made the office bigger?
Why are you talking over the music break?
Because I wanted to. Do you ever wish that the office was bigger that you made? The space?
It's the... I'm moving into a world of studio-esqueness, right? Trying to do better setups, better distance, and this kind of thing. And so, yes, to a point. I mean, it's huge. It's the biggest space I've ever had to do anything in. It is a bit of a rectangle with some lighting things off. But honestly, this is why I said, oh, this is why TV sets are so large, like news, those kind of things, because distance for lighting and cameras. And so to a little bit, yeah, not much. But, you know, thanks for ruining the weird hip-hop music that we had going on there.
You're welcome. Apparently, it's evoking ominous vibes here as well.
The cheese aftermath of the Taco Bell. All right, Joe. Okay. So I may have put my light a little too much, but it makes me feel better. So, all right.
Oh, shoot, dang. Hold up.
I was asking you, hold on. Let me tell you what I was about to ask you before you tried to shoot dang that dice. It was, do we have any questions of the week answers? Or
yes.
any other?
One that I should have played earlier.
Okay. I caught it. I caught it.
So John, who is here in the chat, he answered the question about if you had to survive in a video game world for a month, which one would you choose? So let's see what he weighs in with.
I have been unable to leave any speak pipes. Every time I get home, been working on my porch. And even now I'm getting ready to go out and cut stringers for the stairs because it's going to rain tomorrow. But I'm going to take time to leave the upcoming question of the week, which is, what video game world would you survive in for a month? And I got to say, I mean, let's face it, Borderlands, man, that would just be madness and fun. It's just, anyone who's played it just knows how crazy it is. For no other fun, no other reason, it's just, yeah. Charles, explain it to everyone because I got no time. I got to leave.
Yeah, no, it's the best. It is so crazy. Murder hoboing all over the place. It's cell shaded. It's cool, and you get crazy vehicles. And there's no cats. I just realized that. That makes me so happy. There are no cats in Borderlands at all.
It's what they eat, right?
No, it's not even that. There are none. No, I'm so happy thinking about that. Cats are the worst.
Okay. I know
All
how
right,
much you
so-
love the cats that are at your place.
Look, you're not coming back to my house. You keep starting problems with me. So then the next thing is, what's the next question of the week that we have to put out there?
All right. So for the May 8th recording, the question of the week is, what do you like to do on a rainy day? And according to John, it's respawn. No, he's talking about Borderlands, but yeah. So what do you like to do on a rainy day?
I think I'm gonna be out on that day because that's such a weak question. Weak sauce, man.
Wow. Well, then why don't you come up with some questions, Charles?
What do I pay you for then? If I got to do your roll some dice. Come on.
People get paid for podcasts.
we buy a dinner here and there. That's about what we can do.
We've already done those numbers.
Oh, we are
There we
very
go.
close to getting our new logo, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's supposed to do a coloration for us. We need to talk about some colors too. But yeah, what'd you get?
That we
What'd you
do.
roll?
What are you nerding out about?
Well, you put something mildly disturbing in there. You put human gardening.
All right. If this was an anime, what would your guess be?
It is a necromancer who has a green thumb, and so instead of using normal magic to build up their undead army, they plant them and water them, and they grow into their undead army. Human gardening.
All right. It is not an anime, but that's pretty good. I like it. No, it really today it's been really good. Actually, in the past couple of weeks, it's been better. I've definitely
It's been better to do human gardening.
if you let me finish, sir. Yes, it has been. So, and you'll get it, and you'll have something very eloquent and wise to say about it, I'm sure. Just chill, all right?
Just chill.
Oh, John's leaving again. Gotta go. He heard his part and he's left. All right, fine. Go. Be that way. So I talked about decompressing from the job I'd been in and not having flow in my life, and things are flowing much better. And I've actually gotten to have a couple of really great conversations with people doing some interviews here lately, and told the story about reconnecting with Barb and doing We Serve and
Barbara
building.
Manatee.
Are you supposed to do third? All right, whatever. John, I missed part of 1 week, and it's just back to square zero. Cool. All right. Why is it not circle zero? Anyway, all right. So, for a person from my past, we'd worked together. She reached out, and it's been opening doors for me and giving me, I don't know, for whatever reason, the phrase "new lease on life" comes to mind, but that's actually not the right feeling. But it has been movement. It's been purpose. I've learned some new skills doing some basic website stuff through like Squarespace and Wix, right? Nothing major, no CSS coding, those kind of things, but getting the presentation I want done and how I want it done. And basically it's a great team up. And so that's been going on. I had some other people reach out from some other things, and I talked to them. And then today, Jerome Moore called me, or he called yesterday, and he's starting an EMT school, and he wanted to talk to me and get some advice and this and that and the other. And I taught him. There's a long story there I won't get into, but I taught him at the last EMT school I worked at, and so on and so forth. And the human gardening part is the as you meet people, I'm always helping others be awesome, right? You know, in the church world, they call it planting seeds, but that's usually used in a bring them to Jesus kind of way. And I put that voice on because that's not what I'm talking about, and I don't want to talk about that part. I'm talking about you actually when you're making connections, and that is the picture of guys like I'm just planting seeds of awesomeness in people, and that, you know, and that's when I helped Barbara out 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, and she saw what I could do. She saw who I am. Right. And our paths weren't right then, but it came back together and it grew while it was gone to where we were able to jump right on the page together and start doing some good business to where today she signed on 2 new shows for me to record and produce. And it's not like I'm the host. It's I'm going to sit there and on my other screen work on other stuff while I make sure that the host and their guests talk well together in a situation like we're recording now. And then I'll take the videos and I'll do some post-production and intros and make it all pretty and nice. And it's not a ton of money, but it points to other things. And it's not been that long in the works. And here we are. Okay, cool. They're going to record one show a month. And it's going to take me an hour to do that and 2 hours to do this. And I get this little bit. But it's that motion. Jerome calling me up yesterday. It was just the right thing because I've been trying to find a way to help 1EMS, which actually happens to be the fit for tonight. It's 1EMS is my jersey. And I've been trying to find a way to get that 501c3 moving forward because it just takes time to get grants. It takes time for the big money to come in. And that's what the picture was showing me, is that that's what I needed to get started. And Brian, who helps a lot with 1EMS, he was saying, well, should we start a pay class? I'm like, sure, but it's still going to be like $3 to $5 grand to buy the rest of the stuff that we were hoping to get through donations that just aren't happening. By the way, EMTs are stingy butt faces. $100 bag on your website.
EMTs or EMT product people?
No, well, all this, product people mostly. But it's like, okay, it's $100 on your website retail price, which I can give you. If you donate it to me, I can give you that write-off of the value that you say this is. I know because you're making a profit, you're a for-profit business. I know it didn't cost you $100 for that setup. So,
yeah.
And every business needs a write-off. It reduces the taxes, right? Nobody wants. Anyway, so that's just me ranting. But the human gardening part is, I helped Barbara be awesome before, and it's come back together in a way that I really needed to now. I helped Jerome be awesome in many ways before, and there was this thing I did back on the Breaking the Panel days during the Black Lives Matter. I don't know what to call it because it wasn't a movement. It was something that did matter. The conversations did matter, but the people doing it and other people involved sideswiped it and went sideways. And it got loud and it went away because the people who were doing it for money or whatever, the main mouthpieces of it.
Yeah. There was some shady stuff within the hierarchy.
Yeah, and the timing of it is right before an election, all this crap, right? And I don't want to get too far off on it, but when I say, Black Lives Matter, and yes, all lives matter, but people politicize that too. So even when I see there's a car dealership in Athens or somewhere around here that I see these cars enough, it says ALM on it, which is the dealerships, Alm dealership, whatever. But all I can see is All Lives Matter, which people politicize. And if you saw that on a car, you knew it wasn't a I love people sticker. It was a screw you sticker kind of deal. I'm just saying. I went out to a Black Lives Matter movement during the time and just try to connect with people and talk to people. And I told some stories about that. And we can get that. We can talk about that on the show at some point if we wanted to. What I learned from that. And I posted it on all my socials and everything. Jerome is black, and he's a bit older than me. So he's gone through some stuff. But he brought that up today. He's like, man, when you did that thing, I just no words. Just no words. You're a true person. He called me something else I couldn't hear very well. I didn't want to ask him to repeat it because it seemed really cool. But we connected before, but when he heard me do that, he just knew that I was the kind of person he'd always want to work with. And so that came around today. It turns out the school that he's opening for EMT school, it's that church across the street, Joe.
Oh, okay.
You come to the neighborhood and see the church right there.
Yeah.
They turned one of their buildings into an office building that people can rent out space. So he's right there. And so I went over there today, and everything he wants to do, I like, and he needs some help. So I'm getting an avenue there of basically becoming a partner in that, to share what I know, do what I know. And 1EMS is going to get to use that space. So now I don't have to jump through all the hoops of setting up school and buying all this other stuff on my own and figuring it out. I have a spot that's close by that we can go ahead and get that ball rolling. So that's really the human gardening is. I always give to give. I want people to live their best human lives possible. And I'm with Random Kid. I really wish that people would just be nice to each other. That's it, right? And that's what I try to put out into the world. And sometimes it comes back. I mean, I think everything in karma comes back. And I'm happy with my life. I know that the money that's my income right now might be going away soon. I'm not upset or scared or worried or negative at all. It will stress me out a little bit if it goes away, and then I just have to shift. But the shift has been moving. I have another opportunity with Barbara to make a lot of money as we're getting the blocks set up and the dominoes start to fall. It's going to be good, and that's what I wanted to talk about on my nerding out about. I did watch almost the end of Solo Leveling season 2. I texted you
Oh,
about
so you're
that,
not
Joe.
quite done. How many
Not
episodes
quite.
you got left?
2, I think, 1 or 2.
Okay.
Because
All
where,
right.
where I was texting you was right where I was.
Okay,
So
okay.
I won't spoil it for people because it was.
Got
anyway.
it.
But sometimes I bring those real life moments, and that's it for me right now. It's I've cultivated a future with Tyra, and that has been paying off some dividends here lately. Phil and I've been working on stuff, and that's starting to come. Things are coming around, and I put out so much what I believe is good into the world. Helping people I'll never see again, helping people that may have been ungrateful, helping people that just needed that moment. And I did it honestly because it makes me feel good. When I do good for others, it makes me feel good. But that's, who cares, right? I mean, you should care. That should be the way. You doing good should make you feel good. But every once in a while, it comes back, and I can't put into words and Dr. Wayne Dyer says, I've quoted this a few times, but he says, I paraphrase it a little bit because I think I added a touch to it, but I don't mean to. We say yes. That's everything in life. Like the future we want, how do we get there? I've always chased this dream of being on the stage in front of thousands of people, being awesome. We say yes and expect the right people will be in the right place at the right time. And once I heard that, and I've really tried to internalize that, that has happened. I've had people come in and out of my life, and it's always been good. And it's been hopefully mutually beneficial when those things happen. But right now, it's definitely becoming mutually beneficial that two people that I invested in years ago, it's almost like when you're going to marry somebody. Like when you're talking on this certain level, and it just makes everything else pale in comparison, right? Your good team, Joe, that you're on now versus your former boss. About yeah, right. You knew it was bad, right? You knew it was bad, but you knew that when you get to new places, like this big bright light and saying, "Oh man, that was real." Yeah, it's almost like those moments. So that's why I couldn't think
It's
of what
funny
to
you
call
mentioned
it.
that because a few more people got out from under him because they restructured it a bit more. So a few more people are out from under my former boss.
Wow. And another one bites the dust. But yeah, I didn't know what to call it, so I called it human gardening, knowing that it would get a reaction out of you. But
yeah, apparently his pride took a hit because he has less people that are in his command chain now, and it's not like he can hire more people to fill those positions because they literally took those positions
away.
out from under him. And no, because those positions still exist. Those people didn't get fired.
Oh.
They took all of the business analysts under him and said bloop. And they actually took one of the former business analysts who was fed up with all of his stuff, who's been working there longer than I've been alive. And they were like, we don't want to lose you. They had taken her and made her a direct report to the director.
Yeah.
Well, they just took her and now made her a manager. So she's at the same level as my former manager. And they took all the business analysts and put them under her. So,
I mean, you can't handle it. You can't handle the job. So, yeah. So, all right. Is this this thing Sakamoto Dogs? Is that anime?
Sakamoto Days. Yes, it is an anime. Did you want to try to guess what it's about?
That one's so simple. You don't usually bring a 2-word title to the game.
Nope.
Sakamoto Days.
Mm-hmm.
Is a modernized telling of Greece, where
okay, all right,
it's got 50s vibes to it, but they're still killing aliens with magic.
Okay, all right. So
Sakamoto Days.
the main character is named Sakamoto. He is a retired hitman, considered by most to be the best hitman in Japan. The reason he retired is because he was at a convenience store and the convenience store cashier asked how his day was going, and he fell in love at first sight. And
Okay.
so he gave up the hitman life to marry her, and because she told him that rule number one in the house is no killing. So that
Okay.
that's rule number one in the Sakamoto house. So now they have a little convenience store that he runs. He used to be in like crazy good shape, but because of how much he loves eating his wife's food and just eating in general now, he's a plump guy. But the assassin life is now looking for him, because you don't just walk away from that. So now there's a hit on his life, but he can't just kill the people that are after him, because rule number one in the house is no killing.
No killing.
And so he's got to take out all of the hitmen that are coming after him without killing them. And it's quirky and it's hilarious, and I to be honest, I think you would like it quite a bit. It's on Netflix, and yeah,
Okay.
it's a fun ride. There's only one season out so far, and it leaves on a cliffhanger. I just don't know if another season has been.
Just anime, right?
Yeah, that you're not wrong. So I assume there's going to be another season. Hopefully there's going to be another season, but it is a lot of fun. Because yeah, so a tiny spoiler is during some of the fight scenes, it gets so intense that he ends up shrinking back to his skinny buff form. But then it shows him just eating a whole bunch, and he's chunky again like the next day. And yeah, and he's got like his glasses that he wears have bulletproof glass on them. And so every now and again he uses them to deflect
That's funny.
projectiles and stuff. Yeah, it is nonsensical and awesome and great. It's hilarious.
As I loaded into Crunchyroll tonight to watch a little bit Solo Leveling, it's always promoting something right there at the top.
Yeah.
It was promoting Windbreakers season 2. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to bring that one for Kurt to make fart jokes about the anime. Yo, Windbreakers.
So I haven't started season 2 yet, but season 1 was good, and actually we talked about it on the show. I can't remember what episode. It's been a while, but yeah.
I don't understand how you even have time for Jesus with all the anime that you watch. I don't understand.
Oh man.
So we all
You always
know,
make time for Jesus.
I don't know if you do, because every time I bring up one of the crazy ones I just heard about, oh yeah, I've watched all of it twice.
I mean, I am on my fourth watch through of season 1 of Solo Leveling.
4. I've only done 3. Sorry. Now it auto corrected the spelling or something, because it was not. This next one was not spelled correctly. It was actually a little bit of a initial. So we know this voice.
Roll that dice.
I don't roll the dice. I don't roll the dice. So you can roll the dice, fine. I'll finish this because this will be short. I got to be on Between the Pages with Bob Magoo. It's his indie creator podcast that he does. He actually does it for some kind of indie network, and it's all about making money in the business of creating, and usually it's authors, because that's what he knows is authors, and they talk about real numbers and real world issues and this kind of thing, as far as selling your book, writing your book, blah blah, the business of it. I came on as rock on podcasting, talking to podcasting. 2 hours, man. We were off for 2 hours and it felt like 2 minutes. It was just so good. It's so much fun. I don't even know how you go listen to it. I gotta ask him to send me a link so I can send it out to people. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, and who knows when it's going to be on his website, because he's redoing all of that. He put out a post saying that he was going to redo his website. So
yeah. So, but yeah, if you ever get a chance to be on one of his shows for any reason, let him do the leading. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Okay. All right. And hurrah! I dropped it, but that's okay.
Wow.
Because
no
we got
season 2 for you.
Wow, what a jerk.
Personal story time.
Mike, are you smelling toast? We changed that like a year ago Daddy, tell me a story. So, Joe, I love how you worked in charity into this. So, tell me some Papa NASCAR charity stories.
Yeah. So when I think of charitable people, my dad is honestly one of the first people that I think about. Um, and I have his Bible, so that that he had for all of his adult life. And I was flicking through it one time and just looking, and I was looking at the different things that he had highlighted in his Bible, and a lot of them had to do with charity, and
Was that
it
your
just
stepsister's name?
no,
Oh, you don't
I
know
don't
about
have.
the stepsister. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, never mind. Sorry.
No, I have a
You
step
were
aunt.
you were
Or
supposed
I have
to.
a
You're not supposed to be told about the other family. My
I have a half aunt.
bad. She's just a.
Yep, just uh, I should tell that story at some point.
Oh Lord, yeah.
But
But
anyway,
okay, charity. I mean,
yeah.
long lost sister joke was better than the other joke. So
So, but so my dad, he there's just there's a bunch of different instances. I'll just share a few of them. I remember I was probably about 7 or 8, and we're driving down the side, we're driving down the highway, and we see this woman walking on the side of the road with a gas can, and it's small, but we pulled off to the side. We drove her to the gas station that was only a mile or two away, and we drove her back to her vehicle. Very, very small. Would have been super easy just to drive past and let her keep walking. But the type of person my dad was, that was just another Tuesday, as it were. And so he exemplified things like that. He was always a caring, giving person. All throughout my teenage years, especially, we every Christmas we would choose a family that we knew was struggling, and we do the 13 days of Christmas. And we turned it into a game. We would, sneak in wearing all black, drop off the present, ring the doorbell, and run. And
sure,
it was
yeah.
fun, but it always had meaning, because we always went out of our way to pick someone who we knew was struggling. And we were never well off. I mean, we before my teenage years, we had declared bankruptcy, but so we knew what it was like to have nothing. And there were often times where we, especially during that time frame before we declared bankruptcy, where we were on the receiving end of people giving us
Yep.
stuff around
Yeah,
Christmas.
been there.
And so, you know, we were doing a little bit better in my teenage years. My mom and dad were both working for Xerox, and so he wanted to give back in any small way that he could. During those earlier years, the failed business, my dad was a mechanic. His failed business that caused us to declare bankruptcy. But there was, during those years, a homeless person came in to his office and was asking, for handouts. And what my dad did, instead of just giving him money, is he handed my older brother the family credit card, said, take him home, let him get showered, take him out, get him some clothes. And he told the guy, I'm gonna let you work here. And what ended up ultimately happening is he took the clothes, he slept a night, and he skedaddled.
Sure.
But that's not the point of the story. It's the point that
Right.
he offered. And some people are just not in the headspace to accept the full amount of charity that you can give, but the being willing to offer, a lot of people, regardless of whether you believe in God or karma or whatever, I believe it's going to come back to you. And my dad always put that positive energy out there. He always, Yeah. One of the verses that he had highlighted in his scriptures, and I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was like charity covereth sin or something along those lines. Um, and he took that to heart because he knew he was a flawed person. Everyone's a flawed person. And he took that to heart that if he can help someone out, it's what Jesus would do. And it's yeah. So it was just it made a huge impact on my life. And it's it's one of the things that I try to emulate with my father. And I try to focus, especially now that both of my parents are gone, I try to focus on the good lessons that I can learn from them. Because like I said, everyone has their flaws, and if you dwell on the flaws, you can come up with a myriad of reasons why your childhood was horrible. And my childhood was good. I'm not saying it was bad, but
you had a bobcat, a raccoon, and a skunk. Of course, it was.
oh,
awesome.
I didn't have a skunk.
No, I'm pretty sure that story's coming at some point.
But no, everyone's trying their best in this world, and so just help out your own people. What did Random Kid say? Yeah, Random Kid said earlier. I really wish that people would just be nice to each other.
Yeah, and then you see Joe flick his cigarette butt at a homeless guy at Dragon Con, but you know he's different at Dragon Con.
He had a sign he was asking for.
Yeah,
Don't kink shame people.
that's good.
Oh.
We've done a lot of the same with our kids. Some similar stories there. I can't say that I can recall specifically that my parents did that. You know what? There was a story. There was a story where there were these, I think 3 or 4 girls that were sisters or stepsisters or whatever that were in a trailer park, and just bad situation. Trailer park was literally across the street from our house, which was at the church, and they went to stay with their grandparents. Your dad was. I honestly don't know. My parents kept away from me, so I don't know if there's jail. I don't know what the issues were, but dad was off somewhere. Mom disappeared for a while, and grandma couldn't take care of them. They ended up living at our house for a couple weeks, maybe, and hadn't heard anything from their parents. Nothing. I don't know what my parents were doing to try to track them down or any of that, but they were talking possible adoption just to make sure these girls had a place to be. And I mean, I think it was like 2 weeks. It felt like longer, but it's probably about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Then all of a sudden, one afternoon, Mama shows up at the door and did the polite thing. I mean, it's deep South Georgia, oh, so sorry. I don't know what excuses she gave, but basically it was, thank you for looking after the girls. We're going to go now. And that's the last time we ever saw them. But that's about as close as I can get to a bigger story like that. But yeah, one of the greatest moments I ever had was I was working at the Omni downtown Atlanta, and this office, whatever it was, it's always big things. So they had pizza, and then the organizers, as they were cleaning up, was like, look, you guys can have this pizza to, the hotel staff and us. And there's a lot of it. So we all, whoever was there from the hotel staff and us, we all just kind of divvied it up. And I was coming home with like 2 big boxes of pizza. And that I thought me and the kids would eat. And we were on the hustle, right? This is going to be good food. We weren't poor, it wasn't drastic. We could put food on the table. But this homeless guy's like, hey man, he saw the box, like, you got anything to eat? He didn't ask for money. He goes, you got anything to eat? I'm like, actually I do. Would you like one of these pizzas? He goes, you for real? And like, yeah. He goes, what is it? Thinking I'm giving it. I get it. You have the right to ask. Just because you're begging doesn't mean you don't have allergies or that you I hate olives. I don't care how starving I'm going to be. I will not eat olives. So I get it. So no, and I just kept, no, yeah, dude. And we went in, and opened it up. He goes, well, if you don't mind, I'll take this one. I'm like, there you go. And just the actual energy coming off him, just the happiness of, holy crap, that's awesome. And hopefully that he passed it on to some other homeless people. Cause I mean, You're homeless.
There's a lot of pizza.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I do not fault you for hoarding that pizza to yourself however you can, but also
Yep.
hopefully it made a difference. So that was really cool. Now that does make for a weird transition into the Parliament of Papas.
Yep.
Am I the butt face if my boyfriend made a meal and they asked me how it was and I said fine? I don't
Yeah.
know. Would any girl accept fine from us when they ask how a meal is? I say fine to my wife every once in a while just to see the fight happen.
Yeah,
So-
so this isn't super long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just read it. All right.
Yeah.
So this comes to us from Reddit. They've apparently deleted their account because it's just from brackets deleted. But so my boyfriend made
So
chicken
apparently
breast.
they didn't like the answer.
Yeah. Well, that's because everyone kept saying, "Yeah, you're the." Anyway, so my boyfriend made chicken breast with some white rice, a salad with garlic, and we had some pickles and beetroot on the side from jars. And we sit down, and he says, "How is it?" And I said, "Fine. There's nothing special. Everything tastes as it should." And he got upset and said he added extra garlic in the lettuce and soy sauce on the breast. We both said we couldn't taste that. And I said I am not used to making comments about food like he is in his family. When we eat with his mother, everyone has to say something along the lines of how delicious this is, how tasty this is, yum at every
Got it.
meal. And in my family, we probably find that behavior a bit fake. We just sit down and talk about other things. And if there was something new in the food, then that would be a normal question to ask how it was. So he got really upset because I should have just said it's great or it's good instead of a normal and not very enthusiastic, it's fine, everything tastes as it should. And he proceeded to pick his plate up and left to eat in the office. I don't feel like partaking
Come on,
in
dude.
a family tradition. I don't feel is natural. I feel like I am forced to say something I don't care about it and don't
Yeah.
believe in.
But you
It's-
didn't talk about it, obviously, with them.
Yeah. It's chicken breast and white rice. I mean, am I the butt face for not making a bigger deal out of a simple meal? Is he overreacting, or should I just be fake and oblige and say it's really tasty every flipping meal?
Okay. She is not the butt face here. Not
Really?
wholly.
Okay.
Not wholly. He is overreacting. But also, there's that big gap of communication. That's all this really is. You're missing a huge communication thing. Every family has their thing that the other family doesn't have. Right? Somewhere along the way, you're going to find a difference like, oh, you guys do that? And you should leave room for validation, but there's just so much more to this. How long have they been dating? How long have they been together? How old are they? This and the other. Because I can only talk from my
I'm guessing
memory
they're
perspective.
relatively young. My guess would
Right.
be early 20s, but they do not specify.
So I tried. I try. I don't do country fried steak. It's not my thing. I don't like it. And my wife loves it. I don't care
Okay.
how you make the breading on it. It's pretty flavorless to me. And it's always the cheap piece of meat. That's why that's why you fry it, whatever. I just think it's fairly tasteless. However, I was going to make it for a meal. She's working at the hospital, just 5 minutes up the road. We were first couple of years of marriage. I was going to cook her dinner and bring it to her at work. And so I've got the recipe out, whatever. And it says put seasoning and flour and you sift, do whatever. Blah, blah. Well, the seasoning disappeared. Like, okay, let me put more seasoning. It disappeared. Let me put more. So, okay, now I can see some, it looked appropriate. I can see some seasoning in the flour, all this stuff. Do thing, fry it up, whatever. I'm just going to look at me. Because I didn't tell her I was doing it. I just said, hey, I'll bring you dinner. That's all I told her. So I brought her dinner, this and that, and she's all excited. And we went back to the little break room, and her mom had ordered Chinese for herself, and so that was it, whatever. And her mom and her worked at the same hospital, and I said, "Oh, I'll go get us some ice." Whatever. Walked down the hallway. Got ice. Came back. Well, I came back. My wife was eating her mother's Chinese food. I'm like, I really got my feelings. I was like, "What? What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh crap, I got caught." She was trying to sneak it in because she had taken a bite of that
And
country
you
fried
had
steak.
over seasoned it.
Oh my god, I'd over seasoned it. It is. The ancestors said stop shaking it like 5-10 shakes ago, man. I went way too nuts, and I was like, kind of a little butt hurt, and I sat down, I cut into mine, I ate it. I was like, "Oh, okay. Can I have some Chinese food too?" Oh my God. And I tell that story to say, yes, she was trying to be polite. She didn't want to tell me it sucked. She acknowledged that no matter the way you look at it, I put in the effort. I was trying to do something fun. I was trying to do something out of my comfort zone and meet her with something that she wanted. That did me no good. Her trying to be nice, right? Never would have improved. Never would have. I backed off of cooking because she's so much better at it, honestly. I do some things I really like, and I will cook for myself. But for the most part, she really has an knack of what people like and how to get the seasonings. And had she been nice and I never caught her eating the food, I don't know. I might have been hiding it myself, thinking, well, maybe it's not that bad. I just don't like country fried steak because it was bad. It was not good. But we just had honest moments. We always practiced trying to have honest moments, and I wanted honesty. I don't want fakeness. So in this situation where, okay, come on, dude, this is freaking chicken breast and rice. Like, how white can you be? Come on. I mean, there's so much you just can't season that very much. Chicken breast, you can probably do okay depending on how you cook it. If you and your girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is, acknowledge you can't taste the soy sauce and everything else is just fine, what's wrong with the fine? In reality, it sounds like it was fine, but I think let's go for it.
So I think what it really speaks volumes to, and I'm going to take the boyfriend side here, is because it shows a lack of gratitude. And that's where I take issue with her reaction. It's okay to say it's okay to think it's fine. But she didn't say it was bad. And you can't tell me you can't find at least one thing positive to say about the meal.
Well, we're also inferring because that's all you can do with text. We don't know how she said it. And I get what you're saying. You could have been like, "Oh, thank you." You didn't have to say it was good, bad, or otherwise. You said, "Thank you so much for putting in the effort." Whatever. You could have gone serious like I do and be like, "I really appreciate that you did this for us. But you want me to be honest? You want me to tell me it's great?" And because you know what the answer is at that point. It's like, it's okay. This sounds like the deeper issue too is maybe she wasn't grateful. Okay. I didn't even think about that. You might have nailed that one. But the bigger issue to me is she has this issue with his family. Everybody has their thing. But from the outside looking in, I agree with her. I shouldn't have to go through every freaking meal going, "It's the best." No. I mean, I even get my wife, now, it's my humor, Joe. It's a little aggressive. But after, my wife will go through phases where she'll cook a bunch of stuff. And then sometimes we get busy like we have been. We've just been doing leftovers or whatever. And we got Easter Sunday coming up, of course. So we kind of focus all on that meal at the end of this week. But she'll cook. She was doing it for us almost like meal prepping, but not like meal prepping. She was just cooking 5 meals in one day. So I feel like cooking today, and we're going to knock out the 5 different meals tonight. And everybody can have whatever they want, and then it's all leftovers for the rest of the week. You just pick your meal.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Right. And so we're all eating it. And after the third, fourth time, I said, "Well, how's this? How's this? How's that?" Because part of it doesn't want to be validated.
Yeah.
And I went, for you, it's okay. For everybody, everybody else in the world, it's great because you cook great. What do you want me to say, woman? You raised the bar here. I give her grief, but we all want to be validated. He wanted to be validated. But Joe, let me ask you, outside of the discussion we're having, what would you do if when you're first dating? I mean, now you're in for life, whatever. When you're first dating, whatever. If every meal Kelsey's family is like, "This is so good," you're like, "It's freaking steamed chicken and rice, man. I need the salt. I mean,
Well,
but that validation. What would you do?
yeah. So if it truly was fine, if I was in her place in this instance, if it was just okay, which is what she said, so let's take it at face value, I would show gratitude. I would ask how they liked it, and then talk
Yeah.
about, and then after you've already shown that stuff, depending on how the room is, because you got to read the room, perhaps talk about how it could be improved in the future, because Kelsey and I have done that, where we've talked about something, especially if it's the first time we've made a specific dish. We will talk
Yes,
about
you want
we will
feedback.
talk about okay,
Yes.
what could we have done better, what could we improve, because I mean, in life, if you stop improving, you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron does a lot of the same. But this guy, now everything's in text, and here's what I believe. We really only have her side, and
Mhm.
even as honest as you can try to be about yourself, there was none of that in that post. There was like, okay, well, I meant this, I thought this, I meant to say that. Here's what I could. None of that. So it's all just painting him as the bad guy, and I had to read in between the lines. We don't know how it went down. His story of that night could have been different. I just infer, we all infer from our own adventures and memories. And when she said he got up from the table, like, come on, dude, it's freaking food. All right. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, and you could even approach it, instead of like coming down and showing it as a critique, you could show it as a, hey, next time, you know what would be really good in this, and just, suggest an alteration, instead of like critique. Oh, you needed a pinch more of salt, you needed a pinch more of pepper, and just be like, you know what would go great with this chicken and rice? Let's turn it
Seasonings.
let's turn it more into a hibachi. Let's add some
Yeah.
some vegetables. Let's chop it up. Let's add a bit more soy sauce so we can really taste it. Be so good.
You know what though? Now she didn't say they broke up or not, and of course, I mean, we read the title like, yeah, you're the butt face, and I know a lot of internet's doing that. And Kelsey says from her side, it's almost sounded like he needed his ego stroked for cooking and dinner. That's what I heard too. From his perspective, she needed to be grateful. That's what Joe heard. So, thanks for the AI summary of the show, Kelsey. We always you come through. We love it. It's great. Uh, no, you're good. Um, for a year I worked overnights at a hospital, and I brought my lunch literally in a nice metal Batman lunchbox. I was very proud of it. I still have it somewhere. It's a beautiful lunchbox, and it was bologna and cheese sandwich, white bread, and a bag of chips and a soda every night. Okay, half the time I worked 6 nights straight, and I was off for 7 nights. So when I was at home, I ate home cooked meals. So half the year, right, it was what it really amounts to. I ate bologna sandwiches 7 nights a week. My wife wanted me to change it up. I didn't want to change it up. I liked it. It was easy. I knew what to look forward to. I knew how I was going to hit it every night. I liked it. And I have that now. So every once in a while, she's like, and we have a great relationship where, I can say, it's fine. And she won't leave and go eat in the office. But she'll give me grief, and I get to go, I'm sorry, what do you want from me? I ate bologna sandwiches for a year, and I was happy. You're kind of setting your bar low. Yes, your food is super awesome, but I'm not a foodie. I do enjoy good meal, and I get excited about certain things that make me happy. Taco Bell bean burritos. If you want to be happy at midnight, Taco Bell's your choice.
I mean,
So read what else Kelsey said there. Yes. No, you did. Sorry,
we highlighted
I
it.
saw
We're
on the
good.
screen a minute ago. It looked like it shifted. But what do you think about that? To just ultimately, he could calm down. She could be more grateful. And if they broke up, do you think that would have been a good or bad thing at this moment?
I mean, I don't think this should be enough to break someone up, but it does speak about underlying communication issues and expectation issues. And you can work through those as long as you're willing to have uncomfortable conversations without getting angry.
Yeah.
And that is probably one of the hardest skills for a lot of people to learn when it comes to relationships, is being able to have uncomfortable conversations that foster growth without getting your feelings hurt. Because once you start letting your feelings override your willingness to grow, you won't grow. It will completely stunt you.
Yeah. And if you don't grow, you just end up wanting to live in Minecraft world. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much. We love you all, kiddos. Daddy-os, come on back next week. Tell everybody to listen to the show.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
And Random Kid 1086 everywhere. Love a chicken.
My wife put in the chat, shut up, Mike.